Yeah, so my name is McNeil. I'm the resident director in charge for social justice initiatives. Um, ooh, Taking it day by day is one thing. It's been interesting because it's like coping mechanisms that I've had before,
Hmm.
let's say COVID.
Yeah.
Before I started working from home, which was like March 14th, until now, like aren't working on a day-to-day basis. So like my poetry, singing, be like wanting to be around people, we can't be around anyone.
Right. Yeah.
Um like they just aren't working. I've had to challenge myself to find different coping mechanisms, trying meditating, um, doing stepping out of the my box like most people have to try to do Zoom. Like, how do we get to
Hmm.
connect even though we can't physically be in each other's presence? So my mom was affiliated with the Black Panthers back east, and like we both like grew up being a part of the NAACP, and so blackness and black advancement has always been a huge
Hmm.
part of my life. Um, but to watch what's happening now, it feels like I'm living inside of a history book.
Mm.
Um, I think of Magic School Bus or Blues Clues, where you can like jump into the painting and like jump into the book and like be in that moment. Like, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember posting something after the um, big protest on, I think it was June 6th, saying like, remember when we were in high school and we were saying, high school or grade school, saying like, oh well, if I was back in the civil rights days, they wouldn't be able to blah 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 blah, like they'd never do that to me, and I would do this and I would join this and I would be this.
Okay.
um we need to do that now. Like,
We're in that moment.
we're in that moment of where it's like, all right, now
Okay.
put your money where your mouth
What
is.
would you do?
Then
Because we're here.
remember what you said you would do. Well, we're
Uh-huh.
here now, so I need you to step up and do that now because we need it, right?
Right.
And that's been real interesting because there was a lot of things that I said that I would do. Like, I really thought that I would be more on the front lines, like be that person to travel and just like to be there and like be a part of these different movements. And I find myself being in like fear of doing that a little bit, and then also trying to find like, all right, well, that might not be what I want to do, but what can I do?
Yeah.
Recognizing that activism shows up in so many different ways, that like we need the lawyers, we need the people to pass out water, we need
Yeah.
all these things. Like, where do I actually fit in the civil rights movement that we look up the most, with Rosa Parks, MLK, Malcolm X? With those folks, I think what we look up is that we don't see so many allies in there. And it's like, when you look at the marches, especially in Salt Lake City, the way that white people and non-black folks in general have showed
Yeah.
up has been very like eye-opening and reassuring that change is going to happen, because there's
Yeah.
more people on board. It's not just black people screaming at the top of their lungs, but it's like everybody screaming at the top of their lungs. And
Yep.
I think the this generation, Gen Z, that are like, well, I'm going to challenge my parents now, which didn't happen so publicly because they didn't have social media, right? It's not that
Yeah.
people weren't doing these things, but with the help of social media, we can see all the things that's happening.